Thank you, Madam Speaker. And indeed, I thank the Parliament for the closed Parliament session that we had in August, Madam Speaker. As highlighted then, Madam Speaker, the rationale for the closed session was purely done so that Fiji could get better pricing for the bond buyback and issue. There was, of course, no sinister move, no anything to hide. Indeed, in our submission, we had said that as soon as the bond was issued, we would give all details of the bond issue to Parliament, and that the Hansard recording of that day would be made available to the public. Madam Speaker, the bond has been issued, and this is why we've sought your indulgence to speak on it this morning. Madam Speaker, unfortunately, despite these undertakings and the fact that it was done solely for the purposes of getting a better credit terms for our country, unfortunately, the opposition the very next day in Parliament tried to bring the matter up. Indeed, Madam Speaker, I am told that there are blogs carrying recordings of the closed session, and it has happened on various Facebook and internet sites which the opposition and the supporters and other commentators comment on. Thankfully, they obviously don't have much of a reach because it did not hit the mainstream media. Madam Speaker, we had the leader of NFP stating in his Fiji Times article on September 12, 2015, about the 2006 bond, which I referred to, and I quote, he said, under the SDL government, the global bond of US $150 million, brackets Fijian $328 million, close brackets, was a standby facility at a 6% interest, unquote. Madam Speaker, anybody who knows about finance and the bond market knows there is no such facility as a standby facility in the bond market. He's wrong to say that there was a bond standby facility, because I have here with me, Madam Speaker, the closing certificate of the issuer, signed by the then Minister for Finance, signed as Chone Waikumumbola, which certifies an issue of US $150 million bond, and with a coupon rate or interest rate of not 6%, but 6.875%. Madam Speaker, he did not say about, he said 6. Madam Speaker, he has misled the readers of Fiji Times. He has misled the readers of Fiji Times. Madam Speaker, let me now brief Parliament on the great results that was issued of the bond that was issued earlier this morning. Madam Speaker, I had highlighted to Parliament in the closed Parliament session in August that the government intended to repay the early US $250 million bond that will mature in March 2016. This bond had a higher coupon rate of 9%, a reflection of the turbulent and volatile market conditions when Fiji refinanced the US $150 million bond in 2011. This was the time when we had the global financial crisis, and the global market was faced with a growing debt crisis in most of the advanced countries such as Greece, Ireland, Spain, and others. As a result, the IMF and the European Central Bank had to intervene and bail these countries out. In order to reduce the interest rate cost to government, this month the government offered to buy back the bonds from the existing bondholders. Instead of going in March next year, buy it now. In this regard, Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to announce that US $243.15 million out of the $250 million of the current bondholders have agreed to sell the 2011 notes back to Fiji. Buying back meant and means that we could not alert the market, otherwise we would be subject to market speculation and therefore higher pricing, and would have been a price taker if we went to the market late. Therefore, the reason again for the closed session. This outstanding tender result of 97.25% success rate is one of the highest success rates achieved for sovereign bond in the past few years for similar tender offers of buyback in the market. What this means for Fiji, Madam Speaker, is that we do not have to pay the 9% coupon rate anymore on this amount, which results in the approximate savings of just below Fijian $9 million. You may recall, Madam Speaker, that I had said that we could save a minimum of approximately $5 million, but Madam Speaker, we have saved $9 million. Madam Speaker, what this means also is that our debt falls by US $43.15 million or Fijian $93 million now instead of March 2016. This way, the way this happens, Madam Speaker, is that we are raising only $200 million instead of US $250 million, which is the amount of debt through the bonds before this new issue of bonds. This reduction in debt, Madam Speaker, means that our debt to GDP ratio will be lower by approximately another 1% at the end of 2015. Madam Speaker, we had announced to Parliament that we will repay the existing $250 million US with a new bond issue of a lower amount of US $200 million, with the balance of the US $50 million to be funded through funds saved in the US sinking fund that government had established. Madam Speaker, we had established the sinking fund as prudent financial managers of government finances. There's no requirement for us to do this, but we had done so. I'm therefore very pleased to announce, Madam Speaker, that we have now executed a new bond, as stated earlier, of US $200 million and achieved the lowest ever coupon on interest rates payable, coupon means interest, on a bond for Fiji in the international bond market, Madam Speaker. The coupon rate, Madam Speaker, of 6.625% is even lower than the SDL first bond issue, which was 6.875%, Madam Speaker. Even then, Madam Speaker, when Fiji had a slightly, supposedly higher credit rating. This means, Madam Speaker, that there is significant additional cost savings of refinancing the current bond with a coupon rate of 9% to the new bond with a coupon rate of 6.625%. This is why we went into the market earlier to get a better coupon rate, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in value terms, this would mean that the interest cost on the new bond would be approximately Fijian $100 million lower in total over the next 5 years than the last bond, given the bond value and interest rate. Madam Speaker, we had the pleasure of being on the roadshow, and the feedback from the investors was very promising. In fact, many suggested that given that we have a very, very good story to tell in Fiji, that we should go for the industry benchmark, which was US $500 million, which will always attract much cheaper interest rates. But we obviously held off onto that because our commitment was to raise only US $200 million. We met, Madam Speaker, with over 50 plus global fund managers and 20 plus new investors. In this regard, Madam Speaker, we are pleased to inform that 20 new investors participated in the new bond issue, including some of the biggest global institutional investors, such as Bank of New York Mellon, Alliance Global, Newton IM, Pictet IM, and Eaton Vance. We are also pleased to announce, Madam Speaker, that the commission rate paid to ANZ as the lead manager and book runner was also lower than the commission paid by the SDL government when it raised the bond by using JP Morgan. Let me give you a contrast, Madam Speaker. In 2006, JP Morgan charged 0.85%, which was US $1.274 million for a US $150 million issue. And ANZ charges are 0.55%, which is $1.1 million for a higher amount of US $200 million issue. Madam Speaker, without taking much time, I'd like to thank you, Madam Speaker, for your understanding and indulgence in allowing the closed session, because that understanding helped us to get better rates for our country. It enabled us to go to the market early and take advantage of the prevailing market conditions. Fiji, Madam Speaker, has benefited greatly from this bond issue through notable cost savings by paying the current bond early. Refinancing the current bond with the lowest ever coupon rate on Fijian government US international bond will result in significant interest rate savings over the next 5 years. Madam Speaker, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank ANZ, the Ministry of Finance and the RBF team that went on the roadshow. Madam Speaker, I'd also like to inform Parliament that we will be holding a press conference later today to inform the public and further educate the public who unfortunately, Madam Speaker, have been misled by the likes of the members of the other side. Madam Speaker, I once again thank you for your wisdom and understanding, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, I also request to now have the Hansard account of the closed session made available to the public. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Naka.